Welcome to City Talk News. I am your host, Monica Guidry, and today I am speaking with Republican candidates Dimitrious Stanley and Ibrahim Sow. So let's get straight into this. Why the Republican Party?
I'll go.
All right,
from my understanding, the Republican Party is the party of entrepreneurship. It's the party of family and the party of faith. And all those things, I believe, are factors that define the kind of person that I am. And so you just, it's like belonging to any other kind of group. Just look to where you relate the most and you're most comfortable. And so that is why I'm Republican, now that I'm not speaking for the whole choir. So.
How about you?
Well, I think a lot of different Republicans have their own ideas. Some of them ride that same line. I don't have a lot of the beliefs on the social issues as they do, but what I do believe is what Ibrahim said, and it's I want you to start your own company. I want you to have the mindset that you want to get out and take care of yourself and your family. And you know, one of the differences for me and the Democratic Party is we're going to give you, I want to help you as best I can, but I also want to help you if you have to have assistance. I wanted to make it so you can get off of assistance. I don't want you to just feel like you're dependent on it, and I feel like that's the difference. And the other difference is the Republican Party, it allows you to succeed, but it also allows you to fail. And I think that's depending on the person and how you work and how hard you work. I think that's fair, and that's a fair way to live life, and that's the difference. And that's the reason why I chose the Republican Party.
Okay, so piggybacking off of that, tell me your thoughts on the current political climate within the city of Columbus.
Well, I don't know if you have heard any of the stories. The CEO of Red Flex, which is the red light cameras, which got me a ticket, by the way, turning right, I was not doing anything wrong. She confessed and said that she had bribed some of the city council members. And so right now we have the FBI, we have the Department of Justice in Columbus running around City Hall, looking at some of the people that currently sit on City Hall. So right now I'm going to say the climate is corrupt. They're doing some things that are not in the people of Columbus's favor. It's more in the personal individual's favor that sits on council, and maybe some other individuals. I don't know exactly all the names, but that's what I would say about the climate right now. It's not good for what people want. It's for what the individuals want that sit in City Hall, and that's not what their job is. Their job is to do the things that are right for the city, and I don't feel like that's being done considering the information that we've found out recently.
Now, Ibrahim,
And
Dimitrious says corrupt. Would you agree that the climate is such?
you know, I would go as simple as that, because you wouldn't be able to call it any other thing. And echoing what Dimitrious said, I believe that when you use facts, just like I was listening to NPR earlier today, and they said some of the intersections that had most of the tickets, where it was supposed to be a mechanism to make streets safer, they would have in any given year 4 accidents, and after the cameras they'd have 2, and they would say 50% decrease. Now those are distorting facts. And that's the level of excuse and trickiness that City Hall was using. And so I'm glad that the state did away with it, and feel like those that were abusing their power should be accountable for them.
And when you speak about accountability, how would you say that you feel about accountability for your positions?
Well, it's very high. I've put myself in a position to make decisions for other people's lives, and they're not always there to agree or disagree. And you know, for me, my basis, I base everything off of what would I do for my middle class mother who has to retire in this city. And that's what I base my decisions off of. And anything, and it keeps it from basing it off of my wants. It bases it off of someone else's who is dear to my heart. So if I'm doing it right by my middle class mother, which is a lot of people in this city are middle class, and some are below that and that are less fortunate. But if I'm making decisions that would help my mom live, help my mom be able to retire and feel comfortable and not be taken advantage of, that's my accountability. I'm accountable to her, and if I'm helping my mother and doing things right by her, I'm doing things right by a majority of people in this city.
And just echoing that, I feel the standards should always remain high. regardless of what you're doing. Just like how the standard for safety when it comes to our cops, the standard for anyone using public trust with public assets should always be kept at a high standard. And I believe that when you are breaching the trust of people, you are morally making a misconduct that has the implications for people that you may not know. So though I am seeking public office, I always understand that the relationship that I have with people that I don't know, whether they be on the south or west side, I'm accountable to them. That I'm a public employee. And if you are working for, say, whether it's Victoria or myself, you would have a level of conduct that you should be adhered to at all times. So powers should not go to people's heads. And that's what we have to make sure that we prevent at all times.
Speaking of morals, the Republican Party is often known as a very religious-based party. Would you say that your religion affects the decisions that you make?
Well, speaking of that, I believe in the keeping church and state separate. I live, there's a higher power that I answer to, that I will have to answer to, but I keep that separate from this world, because I don't think you should use that as a mechanism to put yourself at a higher level. You should put yourself at a higher level because you know and you live in the right way, and that is what you believe in your heart. I believe when people are pushing it onto others, there's something there that they're hiding. Either they're not confident in who they are and their abilities to do what they need to do and they want to do, or something else going on. So I believe in a higher power, absolutely, but I believe I should keep this separate. That is my personal belief, and I'm not going to push that on another individual, because, you know, in this country we have all different types. And as long as you are a good person, I don't care what you are, who you believe in, what you believe in, but if you're a good person, we can roll all day long. So I kind of keep that stuff separate.
And then that kind of same understanding, just because I believe something doesn't mean someone, my neighbor or someone down the street, should believe the same thing. That's a level of ignorance that people should not be allowed to get out of their homes if you're going to think like that. I believe that everyone knows the difference between right and wrong. And if you don't, you should be taught that. But that has nothing to do with religion. That is an instinct human thing that everyone is born with. And at times, you may be conflicted, but when it comes to at the end of the day, everyone has a conscience. And that's what it comes down to. Now, what you call that is up to you, but it's conscience, understanding between right and wrong.
And just real quick, I believe something that powerful in people's lives, that should be left to mother, father, or whoever. That should be left to your home to provide that information. That is not my job as a person. My job is to make sure my city, my community has the opportunity to make a living and feed their family. It is the family's job because that's a personal thing. So I don't throw that out there like that, you know. So that's just my take on that. And when someone starts to throw that out a lot, I start to have questions.
Okay, I understand. There are a lot of hot button issues, namely the marijuana law. How do you stand? What is your position on that? Well, let's start with.
Give me the juicy one.
I'll give you the juicy one. You can start with that.
Well, I feel that whether you believe that smoking a joint or walking down the street is right or wrong is a personal prerogative. I believe in free will, and that how you translate that is up to you. But I feel like if the state is going to move towards legalization, we should keep in mind the kind of things that criminalization brings along, which is a lot of black and brown boys are in prison with unfair sentences because of that. It's tearing families apart, and it's bringing down neighborhoods. And that's the effect of criminalization of marijuana. Now, again, whether I think someone should be walking down the street with a joint, that's a personal choice. But it's the effects that it will have positively when it comes to people's lives and families and neighborhoods is what I am excited to see capitalized on. And so in November, I will vote yes on it.
Absolutely. I've seen what it's done for children that have seizures, and they're 5 years old, and they've been given 22 medications since the day they were born, and seized every day, can't live a regular life, and then they use the THC for the child, and the child becomes normal, and they come off of all the other prescription man-made drugs. So I agree. I see what it's done for people with cancer, and even if they still pass, it keeps them pain-free, and it helps them have an appetite, which if you don't eat, you cannot, there's no way you're going to get better. So I see what it does there. I think there should be absolutely some rules and laws, but I'll tell you this, if you're going to legalize alcohol, which I think is the most dangerous drug out there, I would prefer marijuana long before. Because think about this. How many fights you gonna have when you're chilling? You know, you're not gonna be aggressive. You drink alcohol, people get aggressive. So yes, I am all for it. And Colorado has been able to turn it into something that is good for their economy. I think there's a lot of good. And when you take that stigma off of it, I think it takes away from there's gonna be people do wrong, and we know that. And there's gonna be people that do right by it. But I think it helps in so many ways, and it will add to the economies, because Colorado is a fact. They're doing it very well right now with that market. So I'm absolutely for it, and I think it's about time.
Ibrahim, you mentioned a lot of black and brown boys being imprisoned. Another extremely hot button issue that the weight of our country is feeling now is the Black Lives Matter movement. Within the city of Columbus, do you feel that we are on the right side of that?
Personally, when they were marching from the OSU campus down Short North earlier this summer, I marched with them. I took a couple of my friends that I marched with that group. Not because it was just an event that a lot of people were going to. Not just because it was a trending topic, but because I actually see myself as a potential victim every time I go outside. That is something that I have to live with. And I have a little brother that is 15. And that is something that I tell him to do. So regardless of how you feel, structures of segregation still exist in our city. And it's not the fact that we are in a right or wrong position on this growing movement, but it's whether we are deconstructing the things that allow for these circumstances to happen, circumstances that led to Ferguson happening, circumstances that led to Baltimore happening. That level of isolation in neighborhoods that we have in this city, just like the Far East Side, just like the South Side, just like the West Side, those kinds of things we have to start addressing. And when people's circumstances change because they are products of it, we are better for it as a city. And that is what we have to do in Columbus. And once we do it, we will be pioneers in continuing that struggle decades ago that we're fighting just that. Changing laws does not make people's lives better. It's changing realities, and that is something that we have to start addressing here in the city.
How will we change the realities?
By investing in the neighborhoods that have not seen investment. I've seen a lot of people, whether it be incumbents or one of the mayoral candidates, continue to say, I want to share the prosperity that the city has to offer. I've been up and down the West Side. I live on the Far East Side. They have not seen that prosperity that he speaks of. And that leads to potential problems. So my thing is always, preventative action is better than responsive action. And once we start deconstructing the level of segregation and isolation that are in some of our neighborhoods that look third world almost, once we start investing in families, we will see a better city, because we're only as strong as a neighborhood and we're only as weak as a neighborhood. And I mean, people on the South Side are just as good as those downtown. So I feel like if you're a city, you have to invest in everyone. And to come this November, hopefully me and Dimitrious will bring that level of common sense to City Hall.
What would you say about that issue?
Well, first and foremost, are we on the right side of Black Lives Matter in Columbus? I can't say we're on the right or the wrong side. I don't know that at the moment because we haven't had some of the issues that a Ferguson and Baltimore have had. But what I do know, and I know this city, I've been in this city for almost 30-something years, and we are one of the most segregated, connected cities in this country. You go out east, it's black. You go out west, it's Hispanic. You go up north, it's white. I mean, it's very segregated. And when you asked about what are one of the things I want to do, one of the main things I want to do, because until this happens, and you can't really accomplish a lot as a whole, as a city. One of my number one goals is, I know black people want to be amongst black people, white people want to be amongst whites, Hispanics want to be amongst Hispanics, but we can all come together spiritually and mentally and connect ourselves in a way that we know we're more powerful as a group than we are as just the black group or just the Hispanic group or just the white group. That's one of the first things, because my life is I've been in all walks of life, and I'm around a lot of different cultures and a lot of different people. And so I understand there are some white people that are more black than some black people. You know what I'm saying? There are some black people that are more white than some white people. So, but once we really get a feeling and an understanding about that and come together spiritually and mentally and understand that we can be in our what we're around, what's like us, but at the same time, we have to understand we're still a group and we're still a city that we need everyone to work. That's one of the first vibes I want to get out there right off the bat. And then as far as, Black Lives Matter, absolutely, I think there needs to be more education done. One of the things I learned, and this is just a small piece of what I learned, because one of the big issues is with the cops, the city. I went to Hague and I do some training and stuff over there with some of the police, and I got a chance to sit down and talk to them about what they think about how they're being presented in the media today. Well, I think education, because one of the things he said to me, I bet you didn't know this, because I didn't know this. He said, if you put your hands up, okay, to us we think, all right, I'm submitting, I'm submitting, I'm done, whatever. To a cop thinks he's still trained that you're still a major threat. That you're just telling them, I don't have a weapon, but you can still grab me, you can still hurt me. They're trained that way. But we think, oh, he's attacking me and he's being harsh with me and my arms are up. But they're still trained a different way. So the public needs to know this stuff. And 30 feet away, okay, they're still trained, even though I think you're over by this door and you're not a threat, they're trained to say, hey, you're still a threat to me. By the time I unholster my gun to put it on you, you still can harm me. So we have to understand how they're trained, first and foremost. And then, secondly, young black kids, I talk to them, I go to schools around the city and I talk to them, and I got this one young 16-year-old kid, and I said, so if you think, there's a problem in the police force, why don't you try to become a police so you can help change the environment? And he said to me, well, why would I go to a place where they already don't respect me? And so one of the major pieces that we have to pull together so that we don't have some of the instances that we do is police have to understand to a young black man or a black man, it's about respect. But to a cop, it's about doing his job. And then teaching them that, okay, this is still a threat. So even though you have your hands up, it's a threat. So there's a lot of things that I think we have to do to make sure everybody is on the right side. And Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, that whole piece, it's a very interesting dynamic because I think it comes down to education. And until we make sure all of our kids have not only an education to go to college, which is only 30% of America, and 70% doesn't go to college, until we make sure this group here can make a living and feed their families, we're going to always have crime. Any politician, which I don't consider myself one, any politician that tells you, I'm going to fix crime, I'm going to fix drug use, I'm going to fix all that, they're lying to you. They're telling you what you want to hear, because until you start investing in our city schools, you're not going to change any of that stuff. And that's where until we get that moment to happen, that's the only way we're going to make it so that this city stays together and people are fighting less. We're not going to get rid of crime, but you bring it down because you educate people the right way on every aspect. And I don't think that's being done.
Thank you so much, Dimitrious.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
We're going to take a moment, a quick break, and we'll be right back right after this.
I'm here tonight because I think that Dimitrious Stanley would be a great member of Columbus City Council. He is not only a great individual, but he is an intellectual individual. He has wonderful views and ideas about what to do with our education system, as well as improving the city of Columbus for everyone who lives in it. So I hope that you guys can give him your vote this fall, and go Dimitrious.
Welcome back to City Talk News. I'm your host, Monica Guidry, here with Republican candidate Dimitrious Stanley. So, Dimitrious, can you tell me how your life experiences have prepared you for this position for City Council?
Well, I had the ability to perform at a high level. A lot of people mostly know me through football and stuff like that. So I think through that experience and then the length of time I got to play the sport, and I got to live with people from all walks of life, and we had to put it together for one common goal. And it was short-term goals, but yet you still had to put it together. You think about a football team. You have 11 on offense, 11 on defense. Well, I had my job to do. This person had their job, they had to have their job, and you had to know what everybody was doing so you're in sync. So that, as a person that understands how to work with a team, how to bring people together, I think that plays a major role why I'm where I am today and sitting in this seat talking to you. And then just becoming a leader. One thing I've learned about leadership now in the new age of people trying to be leaders, everyone's scared to say, I don't know, If I'm going to be working with you and I bring you in, I want you to be better than me. I want you to teach me some things. I may be better here, but I need you to be better than me. So I think my understanding of leadership, my understanding of teamwork has given me a good foundation to get where I want to be. And, City Council in Columbus, I think of football. We have all different people from different walks of life. We have people that are poor, we have people middle class, we have people that come from money. We have people that, talk in a different lingo. I've experienced all that, so that's going to help me with City Council, and that's what my life experience, that's why I know and understand what I can be and what I can accomplish as a City Council member. I got to witness two of the greatest coaches in the history of the game of football. John Cooper, one of the winningest coaches in college history. Jimmy Johnson, one of the winningest coaches in college history and NFL history. I got to see and understand their philosophies on how to make a team work, how to put people in the same place to accomplish that common goal. So I have a lot of experience at a very high level of what it takes to make things work. And when I look at City Council, I'm going to be with a team. I'm going to be with people that may think different than me. That's okay. I'm going to be with people that talk different than me, but that's okay. I'm going to be with people that are probably better than me at some things, and that's okay. But if you pull all that together, that makes a powerful, powerful leadership team. And that's what my life experiences have done for me, and that's why I think I have what it takes to be on Columbus City Council.
Thank you so much, Dimitrious.
Absolutely.
Thank you for watching. Welcome back to City Talk News. I'm your host, Monica Guidry, and I am sitting with Ibrahim Sow, who is a candidate of the Republican Party seeking the office for City Council. Ibrahim, can you tell me also how your life experiences have prepared you for this position?
Yes, I most certainly can. Well, coming from Senegal, West Africa, I've been blessed to have that narrative that not a lot of people understand here. That narrative of going through struggle, looking at opportunity, and actually going for it, and making those kind of sacrifices with my family. And having that level of ingenuity, I'm able to see the different kinds of things that people go through all the time, whether it is new Americans here, it's a growing population, that are going through the same things I am. There are families that are struggling. I've been on the West Side knocking on doors. They are going through struggles, and having that kind of exposure to people. Also, the organizing Operation Feed campaigns with the Mid-Ohio Food Bank, working with United Way. I've been able to see and also experience what people are going through in this city, and that makes me not uniquely ready, but not a lot of people are doing that, especially those that have the ability to uplift those circumstances from people. And I'm also learning leadership skills, whether I was going through the Ohio State, joining a lot of different organizations, holding a lot of leadership roles, working with the state treasurer when he was first elected, and Speaker Batchelder before he retired. I'm able to understand how policy affects people, and that at the end of the day, it's all about changing the realities and circumstances of people. And I have that level of understanding, I have that level of compassion, and I have the level of leadership experience that I've been taught with people that gave me a chance, that looked at me and said, we want to mold not a follower, but a leader. And that is what I am hoping to do. So that makes me not uniquely qualified, but not a lot of people have gone through that. So I feel like I am the best person to be on Columbus City Council because I understand what people are going through, and I'm committed to community.
Thank you, Ibrahim.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching City Talk News. Dimitrious and Ibrahim, what would you like to tell our millennials who are watching about getting out and voting?
Well, one, people have died, people have fought to have this right, and that's something you should take pride in doing, first and foremost. Two, you can't complain if things aren't going the way you want them to go, if you don't get out and vote. And number three, this is your opportunity to speak and be heard. If you don't vote, you can't be heard from the position you're in right now. So this is the opportunity for them to be heard and put their message out there, because if you look through history, some of the most impressive times of change in America, the young people, college students, did it. And so this is their moment to shine. So take the moment, enjoy it, take advantage of your opportunity to vote, and pay homage to the people that fought and people that lost their lives for this right. That's why I say it's important to get out there.
What about you, Brown?
Well, just echoing what Dimitrious said, SNCC was one of the most influential groups during the Civil Rights era, and they were full of college students. They were the ones that believed in something and they went for it. So, I mean, this generation is no different. We're millennials for the sole reason of being the change makers, because the world is how we want it to be tomorrow, and it only takes work. And in a democracy, you vote, you protest, and you take initiative. So you're young, but you are not powerless. So as long as you vote, as long as you're doing something, the world keeps moving, and the world will be how you imagine it. And so that is a task for everyone. Do something. Don't be a Donald Trump and whine. Go vote.
Well, you heard it here. You're young, but you're also powerful. Thank you for watching City Talk News. I'm your host, Monica Guidry, and we will see you soon.